You've got health insurance and you're wondering, hey, can I use this and save a few bucks on my auto insurance policy? Let's find out why that might not be the best idea on this week's Monday Morning Lawyer. Good morning and happy Monday. Happy cold Monday. This is your accident and injury guy, Jobeth Bowers, here from my Elkton office. We are in our new time slot. This is the second week we've been doing this at 11 a.m. So thanks for adjusting your schedule, or like most people do, catching this on the rerun. Today we're going to talk about one of the things that I see, because every so often, even though I advise against using an online platform to purchase your auto insurance, I always try to stay aware of what that process looks like. It will never not be better to use a flesh and blood agent. You're going to pay the same price. I've said this before, but you're going to have an added layer of service, somebody locally that you can call when you have questions, when you have confusion, when there's an issue with the policy at claim time or otherwise. They can handle things that not necessarily my office is going to be able to handle. Plus, if it's not auto accident related, you're not going to call my office to answer those questions. And these insurance agents will write you more than just an auto policy. You can get home or renters or life insurance and any other number of things. And you save a ton of money by buying multiple from the same company. There's usually a bundle deal. But we're going to talk about one of the common questions, because as you can imagine, an online thing is trying to get you to buy something. It's going to ask you a bunch of preliminary questions. The obvious ones: name, address, what vehicles, etc. But the curious question that I always see in pretty much every one of these online insurance buying walkthroughs or quoting systems, or whatever you want to call it, because they're different ways to label what ultimately is trying to get you to buy something from somebody that's going to give them a commission, is the question of, do you have health insurance? Seems like a pretty simple question. Seems like a pretty straightforward question. But more often than not, in side-by-side comparisons of these application interview processes, I have found that if you say that you have health insurance, which I believe is the law for everybody to have, but that could be, I don't know, that stuff changes all the time, it will default to waiving personal injury protection coverage in the initial quote. Now, there are a few big offenders. We've talked about them in the past on the podcast, who will hide that PIP waiver by calling it guest medical or guest PIP or passenger PIP, or option A is a famous one that is very, very deceptive, because we've been conditioned into thinking that A is the top, the pinnacle, the best, when what you're actually getting is the worst coverage and you're paying to have less. They want to default you to this because, as we've done the math in past episodes, and I've linked to the one, a $3 mistake that could cost you, that episode, rewatch that episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link is in the description of this episode. And I'll take you to a previous podcast episode where we talk extensively into how little it is to increase your personal injury protection coverage, to have it in the first place, because it's a coverage that you're paying for. But I want to talk about the health insurance thing. Health insurance, by law, should you designate it to do so in the state of Maryland, will pay any and all of the medical care that you need related to injuries that you sustained in an accident. Now, there are some qualifications. It's got to be emergency care, or the provider has to be in network. Some plans will require an actual referral from an MD or from an orthopedic doctor or otherwise. So there are very specific qualifications. So it's not just walk in anywhere and say, here's my health insurance card. You have to meet the normal contract standards for your specific plan and that provider and the network and all of that stuff. They'll pay it all. However, you're going to pay copays. or at least be responsible for those copays. Whether you pay them at the time of service or not is going to be dependent upon the policies of that provider. Some will bill you, you can pay them later. Some will hold it until the accident case resolves if you have an attorney. But then this is the part that you don't see. This is the part that's kind of that fine print, the hidden stuff, the message that's not behind there. Because again, if you're buying insurance online, auto insurance specifically, that algorithm and that system is designed to assume that you're looking for the cheapest price. And that you may not understand, because most general people in the public don't, absent learning from a resource like this or being an insurance agent or knowing or having dealt with this firsthand, you don't necessarily know what all of the pieces of your auto insurance policy are. And it's very difficult if you're out of that industry to know, am I comparing apples to apples? Am I actually saving 15% here? Or am I cutting my insurance policy in half or worse to save that 15%? It's a very big and very important question that you have to ask yourself. But what they don't tell you, because again, they're trying to drive you down to being the lowest price. They assume that if they can save you $5, $10, $20 a month, that the choice is going to be simple and you're going to switch to them. So they give you cut rate insurance. They get you to waive coverage that's super important to you, because at the end of a claim, you have two ways that can be paid through the process of the claim. And that is your personal injury protection coverage and your health insurance coverage. But when it's time to settle the case, here in the state of Maryland, one of these coverages most likely, there are a few plans that don't, but most insurance plans, you have an obligation to pay them back. This is the health insurance, to pay them back what they paid out. So are you really getting the same benefit compared to using your personal injury protection coverage, which pays and expects zero reimbursement? None whatsoever. Now, our office, as I've discussed in the past, and there are plenty of podcast episodes on this, have worked it so that we will utilize both your PIP and your health insurance to provide you, the injured person who's dealt with all of this and is still dealing with pain and all of these insurance companies and juggling all of this stuff, unless, of course, you've thrown it onto our office. The phone number is right here, 885-6200, or come to bowerslawmd.com. We're there to help. We're going to navigate this process for you to maximize the money that and the benefit that you're going to get out of those two policies combined. But you can't waive the PIP coverage. If you waive the PIP coverage, we can't leverage it for you, plain and simple. So be sure to take a look at that and don't fall into the trap, because you can answer, yes, I have health insurance. This is assuming that you're making the mistake of buying your policy online, because you should always call a local agent. They're going to give you the same policy for the same price. Their commission comes from the insurance carrier, not directly from you. Those two premiums are going to be the same. You don't get a discount just for cutting out an agent. Plus, you get all of the benefit of somebody locally you can call to say, hey, why did this go up? Or why did I not get a bill this month? Or my auto pay isn't auto paying, or any of the other questions that you might have. Hey, my neighbor's tree fell on my car or my house or my fence. Those are questions that you're just going to get the runaround and feel like you're getting the runaround if all you have is an 800 number to call. That local agent going to be there for you. Super important, very big asset to have. So very simple topic. Be careful of that, because it's going to try, if you're doing it online, to default you into a waiver. Don't waive PIP. It's just that simple. As always, if you have questions for us here, that's what we're here for. If you want to mention on the podcast, email info@bowerslawmd.com. Make sure you mention that you want your topic discussed on the podcast, and we will get to it within the next few weeks. Always, 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 the offer remains open to do an absolutely 100% free review of your auto insurance policy. And I'm an attorney who deals with these accidents all the time. So you're going to get that perspective of, hey, if you were in my office because you or a family member had just been in an accident, these are the things that I would be telling you. Wouldn't it be nice if you had this or that or otherwise? Fix them now. It's like this is it. This is like getting into a time machine, going back in time to today. All right. From the future use coming back to today to say, hey, call Bowers, fix these things on your auto policy, because sometime in the future you might get in an accident and wish you had that time machine. So fix it now. This is the time machine. Future use telling you to watch this YouTube video, call this guy, or email him your declarations page for an absolutely free review. I don't sell insurance, so I'm not doing this to get a commission. I'm just doing this to make sure that you are protected and you're not waiving coverage that you will definitely want if you were a family member or injured in an accident. And then if you need it, I have friends and colleagues that are in the industry. I can certainly refer someone to you, but most of the time, if you already have a flesh and blood agent, I'm really only going to try to yank you away from buying the policy online. Go back to that agent, take the information. I'm sure you have a fantastic relationship with them. I'm not here to disrupt that. I just want you to know what you're buying, how covered you are, and make sure that if you need to call me, you're not learning about a deficiency in your auto insurance policy because I'm telling you when it's too late. I've told that story way too many times. Oh, you've waived the PIP. Oh, you only have this much coverage. Any of these kind of things. I hate being the bearer of bad news when I'm dealing with a victim of an auto accident here in my office. So, as always, if you've missed an episode, and I've linked a few of them that are relevant about the order of operations with your health insurance and how to use that, also about the difference and the cost calculations when it comes to personal injury protection coverage, waiving it, increasing it, and otherwise. So check those out. They're in the description on YouTube. If you've missed an episode of the podcast, there it is, right there. Go to where it says podcast at bowerslawmd.com. You're going to find all of the backdated episodes, including this one, although you're watching this one, so you don't necessarily, maybe you want to bookmark it and rewatch it. Great information, anything you need to know. As always, don't hesitate to contact my office if you are in need of an evaluation for your auto policy. Again, totally free service, nothing to buy here, not even a no obligation to buy. There's just nothing to buy here. I don't sell insurance. Or, of course, if you're injured in an accident, give us a call, hit us up on the website. We are here to help. We do not collect a fee until we are successful for you. So we get paid at the very, very end. We do all of that work for absolutely nothing until we get you a check. That's all the time I have this week. See you next week. We thought about maybe modifying the schedule, but I'll be back next week. Holidays are later this week and later next week. We'll work around them. Be well, be safe out there. Happy holidays. Happy New Year if you miss an episode and don't catch me next week. See you soon.